Okay. Again, hello to all. Good morning, and hoping you had good rest last night. And we are continuing with our, I think, fourth morning session, gathering, exploration. Sanskrit has this interesting word for scriptural study called swadhyaya, which is included in the Yoga Sutras, in the Yama Niyama of the Yoga Sutras. Swadhyaya generally is translated as study of the scriptures, but actually the translation of Swadhyaya literally means studying yourself. Right? Swa means your own, and Dhyaya means to contemplate, to meditate about yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but to be introspective. But generally, that's translated as studying scripture, which implies you study scripture. That's the book. You open the book opens you and invites to look at you. So here, as we already say, we are not here in any intellectual exercise merely. We have to engage the intellect. We have to give our different faculties their daily food. And somehow have a more hungry intellect than others. And okay, we'll try to feed all of them. But at the end of the day, it's an invitation to go beyond that and deeper than that. So that's what we are trying to do every morning. So today's our fourth gathering. So far we've explored 3 verses. First one on sadhu sangha, the next 2 about the attributes of bhakti, description of bhakti. Yesterday we explored a definition of bhakti, one of many definitions of bhakti that we can find in Shastra, particularly the one given by Srila Rupa Goswami on Uttam Bhakti. And its different elements. I will go into a detailed recap because that will be a second class. It's already recorded, so you can check them eventually if you want again. But we mentioned how many of these ideals are mirror and compass, in one sense, are setting and clear aspiration and prospect, and at the same time inviting to look at us where we are and where we want to be, and what's the path in between, and what needs to be done for us to traverse the path with integrity and dignity and authenticity. So yeah, we have defined bhakti. We have spoken about sadhu sangha as the essence of bhakti, as the beginning, middle, and end. Remember on day 1. So today we are turning to the Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We go to the Bhagavatam and to a crucial aspect of bhakti, and sometimes a complex aspect of bhakti, and a crucial aspect of sadhu sangha, which is the guru-disciple connection, the guru-disciple relationship. A beautiful one, a deep one, but sometimes a complex one. Because it's a relationship that involves ideally trust, involves vulnerability, involves authority of sorts, involves surrender, involves very intimate, delicate elements, mutual in both directions, lots of trust. So it can be, in principle, ideally, it's profoundly transformative. That's idea. But also it can be profoundly painful when authority is misused, misrepresented, or where discipleship is misread as well. It's not all up on the spiritual guide, so to say. It's a teamwork, right? And both can do beautiful things, and both can mess it up. So that's why we should approach this topic with delicacy, with reverence, with care, without abandoning discernment, without abandoning critical thinking, without abandoning personal responsibility either, or healthy boundaries, depending what needs to be invoked at the time. But it's an important verse. It's one of the main verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, a verse that I like a lot, despite my own navigation complexities in the Guru Tattva department. One thing doesn't cancel the other, right? That you have a complex navigation in relationship doesn't mean that you throw the baby away with the bathwater, right? So I don't want any more relationships because I have a complex relationship. But relationships are complex. So this is one of the, this is the verse in the Bhagavatam that this describes, among many, of course, but the official one, as we were talking about official definitions of verses, that describes the qualities of a guru, but also the quality of the disciple, as we will see in a moment, as we will find in other verses that I will also refer outside of the Bhagavatam. So this is a verse from the 11th canto that is spoken by the sage Prabhuda, which is one of the 9 Yogendras, the Nava Yogendras, these 9 mystics that are speaking to a king called King Nimi, and he's inquiring from him. So here comes this verse. Hopefully here comes the sun with the verse in a cloudy British day. So I'll recite the verse, then I'll read the translation, and then we'll jump in. Tashmat gurum prapadita jignyashu shreya uttamam shabdi paricha nishnatam brahmani upasamashrayam. That's the Sanskrit. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 21, which again, 11th canto, 12th canto is an afterthought to the 10th canto, to the climax of the Bhagavatam, and many things need to be brought. 11th canto is a very philosophical canto, very interesting, beautiful canto. So, Tasmat Gurum Prapadita. Therefore, that's an important word. We will get there in a moment. Because what do you mean by therefore? I missed part of the conversation here. Context is everything. Right? So therefore, a person who is profoundly inquisitive about the highest good should take shelter of a preceptor who is deeply versed in the sound form of Brahman, the absolute Brahman, which are the Vedas, the sound form of Brahman, who has directly realized the transcendental Brahman, and who has thus become an abode of tranquility. Yeah. Whatever says there is the same thing that I just said. Good. Nice calligraphy. I can definitely appreciate that because when I write like a doctor that you never understand. Not even the doctor understands what he wrote. So anything is calligraphy for me. Everything is good. But it is good. So here we have, therefore, now I will go into therefore for a moment, but as you may have appreciate, hopefully, the verse begins with the qualities of the disciple. The person who is profoundly inquisitive about the highest good must surrender to, and then comes the guru, then enters the guru. But first comes the aspirant, the student, and then comes the guru. For different reasons, right? Because again, if the two are necessary, basically. You can never speak about guru without speaking about disciple, because if you say, I'm a guru, oh, you have disciples? No. It's like, yeah, I'm teacher. Oh, you have students? No. And the other way around, no? Also. So one needs each other, right? As we were talking recently in Wales, we celebrated Guru Purnima, and we shared some complementary topics there. But it's important to begin with the qualities of the disciples because, of course, as we mentioned in Wales, the guru himself, herself, just in case, is a disciple first. No matter how much of a guru you are, how many students you have, you are supposed to remain a disciple forever, as we have been talking this day. So first we clear the ground saying, what is a disciple? Because some of those disciples may become officially gurus and some not, but everyone is a disciple. And if everyone is a genuine disciple, in their own way, everyone is a guru. Even if they are not officially teaching or initiating or anything, if you're a genuine student embodying that, you are a teacher. You are teaching by walking. by living. And of course, for us, it starts with the disciple also, because many times people ask, okay, where's my guru? Where's my guru? As I like to say, but the first question is, where am I as a disciple? Where is the student in me? I am willing to embrace all that it takes to become student, and all that it takes shouldn't be anything excessive that burns us out, but there is something to do. It's not like I just sit in this comfortable cushion and that means being a disciple, and then nectar comes. No? And I become a comfortable, passive consumer of grace. No, there's again this a reciprocal motion here, back and forth. You are expected to receive, but you're expected to give, and vice versa from the side of the teacher. So it begins with the qualities of the student because of that. For us to, if we are looking for a teacher or teachers and we want to embrace the spirit of student, okay, let's be a student for the right reasons. Or in other words, if you're looking for a guru, make sure that you're looking for a guru for the right reasons. But you can be looking for a guru not for the right reasons. You can be just looking for some guru for, so we'll say, for social pressure, fitting into a group, or having a name, a cool new Sanskrit name, or whatever, showing a credential. I have a guru now, I'm better than you who do not have a guru. Anything and everything, right? So we will try to go about it through the right reasons and the attributes of both guru and disciple. And also I will say that it begins with the disciple, because a guru-disciple relationship cannot be imposed, right? So it begins with an awakened question, an honest search from the side of the student looking for meaning and purpose in life. It's not like, hey, I'm a guru and you have to be my disciple, come here, or this is your guru, accept him or her. It has to come from a very voluntary, freely chosen search. So we were talking yesterday about this profoundly intentional, profoundly voluntary. So also it's the disciple's responsibility to discern where shelter may be placed. I will get there in a moment, right? But when we hear say, okay, one is supposed to take shelter of someone, of course, it's not that you are forced to that, but it's you choose to do that in the context of particular search and inquiry. There are many parallels. Again, there are three main verses, and we will just see this one today, but there are two other verses, one in the Bhagavad Gita that you may know, 434, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti jnanam jnana sattva darshana, which is basically a parallel to this verse. And there's another verse from the Upanishads which says, Tad vijnanartam sagurumi bhavi gachet samit panishratiyam brahmanishtam, which again is a parallel to this verse. I mean, you can draw exact parallels for each word in each one of these three verses, which in itself makes a point. Okay, there are certain things that are said all over and are important to be considered. And all the three of them describe the qualities of the guru and the disciple. And the three of them begin with the qualities of the disciple first, and then the guru. So again, interesting pattern repeated three times, pounding the post through different scriptures, right? So let's begin with the first word of the verse. We are going somehow doing some word by word exploration. Our word is tasmat. Tasmat, which means therefore. As you can imagine, there is a lot there, a lot that you don't know, because therefore what? Right? What has been said before, for it to say therefore. And of course, for that, we need to go to the previous verses. And that, again, makes this point of the importance of understanding a verse in context. If I just take this verse out and I tell it to you and I start saying therefore, it's like, no, you have to tell me what was said before. If not, the therefore, because it's crucial, because it's the momentum that takes someone to, therefore, because of whatever, the person is invited to accept the guru. So what's that therefore? And the previous verses, which is basically the whole chapter, this verse 21. So almost the first 20 verses are describing let's say the experiences and the consequences of living a life in ignorance, in darkness, in illusion, in dualistic thinking, in self-centeredness, separateness, and how that creates affliction all over the place. Even if you reach Swarga log, that it may feel to us, well, they seem to be having a great time over there. No, let's go there for a minute. But even there is affliction. The Bhagavatam shows many instances where the devas are not necessarily having the greatest of times. So, like making the point, even what we think is heaven, that's not heaven. No, there is still anxiety there. From Vaikuntha upward, we can speak in terms of non-anxiety. But below that, because still there is dualistic thinking, self-centeredness to one degree or another. And therefore, because of that, one cannot attain lasting happiness. Again, it doesn't mean so much to the planet itself, but to the consciousness that one has, the orientation through which one moves in. Here, Swarga, which still is self-centered to some degree, and therefore there's no lasting happiness. And of course, the implication is, and you want lasting happiness. Jayatma suprasidati, like the Bhagavatam say. You want to attain complete fulfillment. And that's not happening in a selfish oriented life. Therefore, that's the context, basically. In other words, therefore means because there is no lasting fulfillment in samsara. And samsara, again, for this we mean a life selfishly oriented, not necessarily you being here on planet Earth. If you're living a fully bhakti aligned life, you're not in samsara, technically speaking. But samsara meaning illusory orientation, therefore there's no lasting fulfillment there. And bhakti is what promotes this highest potential and fulfillment in love for the soul. Therefore, and then comes the rest of the verse. It's clear on the idea?
Yeah.
But that's tasmat. No, tasmat kinds of implies you have to have some experience and realization of, I'm not finding happiness here, I'm looking from this place, it's not working. So you need to maybe hit the wall a few times. So tasmat is marking like an existential realization that probably we all had, and that's why Krishna may say in the Gita, from people who approach me, the main ones are the afflicted ones. No, the ones who come having tasted this tragedy, trying to look for happiness, trying to look for security, trying to look for fulfillment. I'm still not fully satisfied. The more I try, the less satisfied I am. But until and unless you have the experience, you still are starry-eyed looking on the grass seems greener on that side of the fence. And then you tried all the fences and all the other side of all fences, and it's like, I'm still dissatisfied. So you need to have the experience, and therefore the realization that comes after the experience. So tasmat, or therefore, marks that realization. Unless you have the realization, probably you need to have it before giving yourself to a guru. That's the implication also, that not necessarily everyone is ready to enter this connection with the guru or this search for purpose and meaning in terms of divine love, because they still are too busy testing the different self-centered orientations to life. They're too excited still in the candy shop, so to say, thinking there will be one candy among all this that will taste like I really need. So again, seeking a guru does not begin from a religious obligation, again, like from social pressure, but from a genuine acknowledgement of the limits of my own search without proper guidance, without certain guidance. And of course, as we'll see, dissatisfaction is not enough, right? It's not enough of a reason, at least in the beginning, maybe. You may reach a guru like, I'm dissatisfied, I'm suffering, I want relief. And again, Krishna says, welcome. Which is another way of saying guru says welcome, because ideally a guru is representative of Krishna. So People approach Krishna in affliction, God, help me, I'm suffering. Or people may approach a teacher in the same mode. Oh, I'm suffering like crazy. Give me some relief. So that's still not the most mature approach to a teacher, right? Still, you are not thinking about, I will serve this person, I will give my heart, I'm just suffering. I stop the suffering. Tell something. Give me something. Which again makes sense in some point, but in the long run, that's not enough, right? Like I'm dissatisfied. I want relief from dissatisfaction. No, life is not just about stop suffering. It's not even about being happy. It's about find purpose and meaning, even when you're not happy. But in time, you may think, wait, it's not about stop suffering. It's about being happy. Eventually, it's not even about being happy. Because sometimes I'm not happy about finding purpose and meaning even when I'm not happy. Oh. So gradually you learn all those lessons, ideally, with proper guide. But it may begin, I'm dissatisfied. I want relief. Mm. Uh, but eventually, yeah, and sometimes we look for a guru just looking for reassurance, looking for some degree of certainty because we come from a chaotic world full of uncertainty. And yeah, it's understandable. Give me some orientation. Tell me they gave me the answer, perfect answers to everything. So full certainty. Okay, whew, I'm somewhere. Some north, some compass, some orientation. No? Tell me what to do with my life. And they begin from that codependent template. And the guru's past the realization may help from that place, but eventually help the student to you have to decide for yourself. You have to think for yourself. You have to take responsibility for your own life. I cannot decide where you're living, which work you're taking, who you will be marrying, and which car you will be buying. Those that happen a little bit, but not always works. uh, so again, it's all about becoming a disciple for the right reasons, and that's something we may be learning uh, on the journey itself. No, okay, I already became a disciple or a student, and I thought it was for the best reasons, and now I'm realizing there are so many mixed motives still, and I need to, refine that gradually. It's a gradual awakening to that, learning better and better decisions to remain a student, so to say, as I move along. Again, it's not like, okay, first become understand perfectly all the better reasons, and then only then. It's like, okay, before becoming a mother or father, first become a perfect mother and father without being a mother and father. I don't think that's possible. So again, there is some scope for learning on course, for the student and for the guru as well. There are so many things to learn in terms even of relationship, of dynamics, of how to interact with the student, with the teacher, with the brothers and the sisters, and a new situation is new experience. So anyhow, tasmat, therefore, which again, this word therefore makes it clear, considering all that came before the therefore, that not everyone needs a guru. At least not right now. That's when someone asks Prabhupada, like, does everyone needs a guru? I say no. And he referred to this verse, only those who are looking for the deeper meaning of life, they need a guru. If you are not interested in that, you don't need a guru. Just to be careful not to impose this idea, everyone has to have a guru. I mean, in principle, everyone needs this deep purpose and meaning of fulfillment. And in that sense, everyone needs a guru, but not everyone is in that search now. So circumstantially, not everyone needs a guru right now. We have to be careful not to become like guru imposters, fanatics in that sense, right? Mm-hmm. So only who are voluntarily interested in we will get their quick Sreya Uttamam, which is the highest good. Or inquiring voluntarily into that direction, looking for answers and guidance in that connection. Mm-hmm. Again, spiritual connection, spiritual search, and spiritual intimacy should arise from authentic need, authentic freedom. Not social pressure and not fear I will be considered spiritual inferior if I don't have my guru and this and that. So it all comes eventually at its own pace, at its own time. Even if someone is already in the search and is connected, in this case, let's say with the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, and learning, that doesn't mean you need to accept formal initiation from someone after 3 months or 6 months, because sometimes these things happen, right? Like, okay, 6 months. When? Who? It's like, come on. Srila Prabhupada was born in a family of Vaishnavas and he took initiation in his 30s. So 30 years being a devotee. And he had met his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, thing we talked the other day, for 10 years before the official formal commitment, so to say, though he was already committed. So there are different paces and time for everyone. We cannot just make a one size fits all template and that's it. Right? So tasmat, therefore, gurum prapadita. So for that person, who has that experience, as we said before from previous verses, and has realized there's no satisfaction here and here and here, and we'll get in a moment to who is inquiring to the highest good, says one should surrender unto the guru. Well, we can go first to Jignasu Sriya Uttaman. It makes more sense, like semantically. Jignasu Sriya Uttaman. Jignasu means inquiring, like Jignasa, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Shreya means like long-term benefit. I mean, Uttama means highest, and Shreya means a good or a benefit that is, you have in Sanskrit Shreya and Preya. Preya means like immediate satisfaction. But as it is immediate, it dissolves immediately as well. No? So Shreya is something that may take more time being obtained and will be everlasting. No? Its highest value. So Shreya Uttama. Uttamam, we already spoke about Uttam all these days. So it means like highest, superlative. Someone who is inquiring into the highest good. That's the duty of the disciple. Remember, we are not talking about guru here yet. So the defining question of a disciple is Jignasu Shreya Uttama. Which in one sense implies the disciple, the student. Use the word, it helps better because I know that some words may trigger you for whatever reason. If I say disciple, it's like, oof. No. So student, inquirer, again, without throwing away the baby away with the bathwater. So the defining quality of a disciple is the disciple has questions. Jignasu is inquiring. It's not the disciple, the main quality of the disciple is not unquestioning obedience. Of course, it's not also being a rebel without a cause. Let's not get too extreme, my friends. So the defining quality of the disciple is not unquestioning obedience, but profound inquiry. In the search of truth. No, not inquiry just like wanting to challenge the teacher, but really sincere inquiry. There are questions, burning questions. I cannot sleep at night. I have this need, this question. So the disciples comes with questions. The Bhagavad Gita, the word is pariprashnena, right? Tad vidhi pranipatina pariprashnena. Pariprashna, remember, prashna means to make questions, and pari, we spoke about that in Laverna, remember. Pari means all around, like when you say parikram. So the disciple has questions all around. No? Like he or she is willing to explore, inquire about something, not just from one angle, but trying to understand something comprehensively. No? Again, not mere theoretical curiosity, but passionate inquiry and need. Pariprashnena. This verse from the Upanishad, of these 3 verses that speak the same thing that I mentioned, is that vijnanartam. You're inquiring, you want realization of the highest good. So the student comes with questions. And a genuine guru does not fear sincere questions. Questions are welcomed. As we see in the Bhagavatam, and every time Parikshit has a question, Sukadeva Goswami is praising the question and the questioner before answering. That's very interesting. If you pay attention, it happens almost every time Parikshit makes a question. Then the next verse, Sukadeva Goswami is like, oh, it's like he's like in ecstasy, like, wow, such a thank you for such a question. He's thanking this inquirer, like, wow, you're blessing me, because that question also takes me to another level, and myself is the answerer of the question. So wow, so genuine guru is praising the question. No, glorifying the question. The genuine guru is not saying don't ask questions. No, questions not allowed. Only answers allowed. And I give the answers, by the way. Or certain questions not allowed. Why? If that's a genuine need, of course, that doesn't mean that because of that I can bring any questions in the sense of there, how to say, as a questioner, I can bring questions that are actually unnecessary and that could be a disturbance if they don't come from the right place in my heart. You follow my point? So I have also a moral responsibility as a questioner to ask in a way that is honest, sincere, clear, deep, as much as I can. Not just throw things. I have a question, boom, and I'm not being caring in which way it's coming. But if it's coming from a genuine place, they are welcome. There are no silly questions, as we say many times. And again, a genuine guru is not fearing sincere questions. It's not like, which question will you ask me? First tell me the question, and then I tell you if we can speak about it. That's not how it's supposed to happen. So that's, again, the defining quality of the student. Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. Sincere, passionate inquiry. An allowing of doubts also. That's a healthy environment. Like normalizing, there will be doubts, there will be misunderstanding. You will have questions, questions that even after asking the question and maybe receiving an answer, still the question remains. And it's okay. Stay with the question, stay with the inquiry. Again, the main character, the main questioner of the Bhagavatam is called Parikshit. Parikshit means literally the inquirer. That's an interesting name. Pari Iksha. Iksha means to look, and pari, again, pari prashnena. We have lots of pari. Pari prash. Parikram. Pariksha means look in all directions. Like trying to get a grasp of reality from all perspectives. So the inquirer, Parikshit. So again, pariprasnena or jignasu sriya uttamam in this case, the duty of a disciple is not passive acceptance, just like whatever I'm told, I accept blindly and I swallow the product and don't think, don't ask, don't say anything. But also it's not the other extreme, which is like, I don't know, combative skepticism. Like to whatever they say, I will argue and I will have a question. No, there's place for have genuine question. There's place to feel, oh, that's fully satisfying. I don't have questions. I'm fine. I have to process. I have to think about it. So jignasu, the type of inquiry again is questioning joined with humility, with sincerity, with practice, with commitment. I'm not just casually asking a question to satisfy to make my brain like tilt or like an intellectual dopamine peak. And also a willingness to be changed by the answer. No, that's not. I'm asking questions to have my own prejudices and assumptions reinforced by the answer. Because sometimes that happens, to be honest. You can feel even sometimes when someone asks a question and they just want you to answer what they already have concluded is the answer. So basically, they want you to say yes. I mean, and of course, sometimes you have questions that are a yes or no, and I'm not saying that's always the spirit behind the question. So we have, that's again the responsibility of the inquirer. I'm asking with the willingness to be transformed, because I may ask something and the answer may be different from what I expect. Sometimes there is some expectation attached to the question. I ask a question and I assume the answer may go there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it may go there. And you have an intuition and you need some confirmation, and it's fine. But sometimes the answer may be something else. And you may agree or not, but the point is sometimes the answer goes somewhere else. And you feel that's genuine, but it's not what I expected. And what do I do with that? That's inviting me to think again, to change my angle of vision. Sometimes that's uncomfortable. As beautiful as the word change is, transformation, sometimes we don't like to change. Because you have to move. Sometimes it was so, I finally was comfortable sitting here. Now you're asking me to move again. But yeah, there has to be a willingness to be changed by the answer. That's the openness of a genuine student. I'm always willing to be further transformed. When Srila Swami says students forever, that's the implication. I'm willing to be perpetually transformed over and over again, to continue refining myself to become even a better offering in service. Mm-hmm. Can always get better. It's getting better all the time, as we say. But for that to happen, it's getting transformed all the time. And I have to be willing to participate in that. So yeah, it's an endless exploration. Brahma Jignasa. As the Vedanta Sutra says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now is the time to inquire into Brahman. As we say, I think here or Wales somewhere the other day. Brahman is the name of the Absolute, which means the ever expansive one, the vast one, the unlimited one. So the first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is, now is the time to inquire about that reality which is vast and ever expansive, which basically means the inquiry will never end. So the first sutra of the Vedanta is setting the tone. Okay, we are up for an inquiry that has no end. Okay, we are just letting you know in Sutra 1, you still have time to jump down the plane if you want. Here's a parachute. The inquiry has no end. So here we are not trying to master a subject. So we say, okay, I know it all. End of the game over. It's endless. So that's part of the willingness and humility of the disciple student. Okay, I'm entering to the relationship with infinity. That has no end. I'm not here to settle. No, like certainty is like this. That's it. It's ever evolving. So Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. Again, Shreya Uttamam is the highest good, and we can translate that, of course, as in the beginning we may not have a clue what's the highest good. No, we intuitively look for something which happens to coincide with the highest good, but I have no clue what the highest good is. I'm just suffering. I want some relief, but behind all that, we want deep, profound satisfaction, and that will be met with the deepest, profound meaning and purpose of life, which I have still maybe no clue what that is. And eventually you realize, oh, that's in connection to divine love, which is Parama Purushartha. Artha means purpose and meaning, but also is a word connected to love. So love brings purpose and meaning to everything. Again, even when you are suffering, there can be love, and that fulfills purpose and meaning, and that gives the satisfaction we need. So the highest good ultimately points to this divine love that we will say this is the goal, perpetual goal of life. But also we may read Yajnasya Sriya Uttama, which means we can ask what's the highest good for me in my present life. No? Because again, divine love may be a long-term goal to attain. And as we say, it's beautiful to have that goal in place and aspire to that properly and feel we are already on the path. But also where I am today, August 5, 2026, was the highest good that I can realistically pursue today, inquire about today, in the context of reaching that long-term goal. So I may ask, as a student, I may have an inquiry that pertains to something immediate, but I can present that in the context of having inquired and dealt with it. That can get me closer to my ultimate highest good. So again, what's my present highest good? And also sometimes the question may be, what my present highest good? And the answer may be, oh, my present highest good is actually comfort. And I realize I need to dethrone that. Because dethrone in the sense, I need some discomfort also to grow. Too much comfort. If I make an idol of comfort, all my inquiries will be about that. So sometimes asking this question, highest good, is, hey, what do I really, in words, this is the highest good, but in practice, what I'm pursuing as the highest good? Comfort, security, validation, certainty, spiritual status. Okay, I need to deconstruct that. So I will inquire. So the actual highest good becomes more clearly revealed. So anyhow, I went to the second line, but now we go back to the first one. So therefore, someone who has had that an experience and is inquiring into the highest good, gurum prapadyata. So guru means guru. And again, if the word guru is triggering you, you use teacher, you use preceptor. We put preceptor there. Prapadyata has to do with surrender. No? Like Krishna says in the Gita, yayatamam prapadyante. No? So it's the same idea here. Prapadyante, prapadyata. On the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Tadvidi Tadvidi pranipatana. Pranipat is prapadyante. The same ideas here. No? The Upanishad, this other verse from the Upanishad said, Samit Pani. The disciple has to bring the wood for the sacrifice to the Guru. Like a more ancient Vedic imagery. The Guru is performing yajna swaha with the wood, and the disciple brings the wood, which is not a literal thing. Oh, I just need to chop some wood and bring it. That's surrender. No. You implying I'm willing to be part of the sacrifice. I'm willing to get involved in sacrifice. Surrender. Rupa Goswami starts the 64 practice angas of bhakti with Sri Guru Padasraya, taking shelter in the teacher. So again, taking shelter is not an artificial imposition, as I say. It doesn't happen on one day. I meet someone, I'm taking shelter of you. When it comes after a natural period of getting to know each other, trusting each other mutually, even testing each other. And not testing in the sense that I will put some hidden camera and see what you do when I leave some, I leave 100-pound bill on the table and like this. Not that type of testing, no? But in a relationship, you are testing each other without consciously doing that, but you're seeing where each one is and getting to know each other. So again, before formal shelter comes observation, right? How, in this case, the disciple will ask, how does this person respond to disagreement? When someone does not agree with the guru, how does the guru react to that, or to criticism, or to limitation, or to failure? Does the person allow that to happen in their life, or it's not in the lingo? How does this person respond to power, to money, to followers, to, I don't know, to the vulnerability of others? We need to get some time to observe that. And the guru will examine the disciple similarly. Examine in that sense, like you are getting to know each other. Not because you are necessarily distrusting the person and waiting for the worst to happen. It sometimes can happen if you come from a traumatic previous connection. You may okay, let's see when it comes. And it may not come. And you need to allow yourself to trust, it's possible that it may not come. No, it has not come yet. No? These last 25 years, it has not come yet. But who knows in the year 26, right? So it's not healthy. If for some considerable time something is working well, okay, there's chances to open and try. It doesn't mean that everything will continue to be well. Things can happen in life, but we cannot like micromanage the future and every moment to be sure that nothing will happen. Things will happen and life happens, and we grow through that as well. Okay. But again, taking shelter, prapadita, or surrendering, taking shelter, whatever word you want to use. So we already say surrender doesn't mean I become like an automaton. No, like I stop thinking, feeling, willing. I'm surrendering my conscience, my moral responsibility, my criterion. I'm trusting. I'm opening myself. That's why Jiva Goswami says the outward expression of Shraddha is Sharanagati. No? The external expression of Shraddha or faith is surrender. In other words, I can only surrender if I have faith. So I can only surrender to you if I have faith in you. And that will be also proportionate, because surrender is not a one-time act. It's not like I was not surrendered yesterday, now I'm fully surrendered. I have faith in you 10%, I can surrender to you 10%. Tomorrow I have 11% faith in you, I'm surrendering 1% more. It's a gradual process. And sometimes people understand things in very black and white ways. Oh, now I surrendered. Oh, really? What did you do? What happened before and after? So it's a gradual process. And ideally, a guru, also genuine teacher, will assist and accompany the student in the discernment, in having a proper discernment, and having a maturing his or her discernment in time. Idea, and I talked about many of the things in Radical Personalism. There's a whole chapter on Guru Tattva, so I won't repeat myself too much here. But the guru ideally has to, how to say, create not a codependent retinue around him or her. You have to create mature disciples, independent, thoughtful people, as Srila Prabhupada will say. No, not people that keeps depending on you for every single decision in their life. That's tragic. No? Imagine if I'm calling my mom on a daily basis, asking her, "Mom, what should I eat today? What should I dress? What should I do?" It's like, well, you're 45, right? But sometimes that happens between guru and disciple. So it's in the beginning, there is a place for that when we're in the kindergarten stage. But eventually, when you grow, you're expected to grow, and the guru is expected to foster that grow and to allow the disciple, okay, fly with your own wings. It's not that the guru disappears. Like when I'm 45, it's not that my mom or dad stop existing, but there's another dynamics in the relationship. In one sense, there is more freedom, and the relationship is more mature, and it can go deeper, and it's more friendly like. That's why Rupa Goswami says, ideally, Vishrambena Guru Seva. The relationship between guru and disciple should be one of friendship. Not friendship like just, hey, how are you doing? But there's a type of friendship, a type of trust and intimacy and sweetness. Still teacher is teacher, student is student, but still there is a very close connection and teamwork even, because the two are serving the same cause at the end of the day. So anyhow, surrender. Sorry, I stay with surrender a little bit, but it has been a quite weaponized word through history. Surrender, even without spiritual circle, we hear surrender. It's like, I'm about to kill you, I surrender. White flag. Many times we surrender in spiritual circles similarly. Like, I feel I will be killed if I do not surrender. If I don't get initiation, I won't belong. I will be ostracized. I will be left alone. And okay, I surrender. Not very positively, but I surrender. But surrender again is not the erasure of the person. Also, surrender fosters individuation, ideally. Again, surrender is trust. It's the outer expression of faith. So I trust you fully. I give myself fully. Again, there are degrees of this fully, as much as fully as I can today. And in that opening myself to you, I also flourish as an individual. That's ideal. One doesn't necessarily cancel the other. Surrender and individuation are not enemies. If I trust and open myself in a relationship to someone who guides me, that will in turn nourish all that I can be as an individual. But also, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to be transformed. I'm willing to let the truth that comes from my guides. And again, we have to remember when we speak about guru, can speak in plural, to let that truth challenge the structures through which still we may protect our false sense of self. Still, there are many defense mechanisms to protect what doesn't need to be protected, what needs to be dismantled. So having that trust in the other person, I'm trusting, okay, whatever comes from that side, even if it's a challenge, is something that needs to be challenged and needs to be deconstructed. But again, you need first to trust that person, because if not, you will be like, ah. And as I also like to say, surrender, another way of speaking about surrender is surrender. We should surrender out of wonder. No, not surrender out of fear, out of pressure, out of intimidation, out of fascination. Wow, all that is coming from that person or those people. Because you can also surrender, like here, we are in a sangha, in a group, and you can feel, oh, this family, this is tribe, this is so nourishing. I surrender. I open myself to the circle out of wonder from all that is coming through them, and I can genuinely feel belonging and trusting and connected, and there's a fascination that I cannot but, like Srila Semaras will say many times, it cannot but be. It cannot but be. I cannot but surrender. I have no option at one point. It's so beautiful and fascinating. Not I have no option because someone is forcing me, but because I feel so, no, it's irresistible. Exactly. That's no Krishna. It's all attractive. So things have to happen in that way, ideally. Some days we may need to do a conscious effort and make a conscious sacrifice. I may not be like filled with wonder, and still we can surrender open with some conscious effort, but as we spoke in Wales, there has to be some wonder and fascinations. Because if it's just effort and sacrifice and zero fascination, it feels like in connection to a guru again, the guru, however, teachers, as Srimad will say, they embody my highest potential, my highest aspiration. So witnessing that ideally creates wonder, creates fascination. I feel drawn to that. Mm-hmm. So again, the healthiest surrender is attracted. No? It's not rather than extracted. If you want to put it in a cool one-liner. Healthy surrender is attracted rather than extracted. Again, it arises because the student recognizes something, wow, beautiful, moving, trustworthy, insightful. It comes from a deep personal experience, deep personal recognition of something being appearing in front of me, like, wow. Not because submission has been demanded, but I'm attracted. I cannot but. Mm-hmm. That makes the whole thing sustainable in time. Okay, enough for the disciples. Let's go to the guru, which again, at one point, guru, disciple, both mean each other. Ideal disciple is natural guru, real guru is a disciple. So let's go to the second half of the verse. When after, again, start having established the attributes of a disciple in terms of sincere inquiry, previous experience of dissatisfaction that leads to a more refined, specific thirst for answers and fulfillment, comes inquiry, comes questions, comes surrender. Of course, Bhagavad Gita will add sevaya, which is a beautiful word, which is when the disciple received from Guru so much wealth, there is the willingness to reciprocate accordingly and give myself in seva, which again, seva doesn't mean just doing stuff, no, but acting for the pleasure of the object of my affection, in whatever ways it takes. So now comes the quality of the Guru, Shabdi Pari Chanishnatam Brahmani Upasamashrayam. So now comes the what's expected from the guru. So the Bhagavad Gita will say Jnani. No? The guru has Shabde. Shabde, Brahman, the word Brahmani also is connected with this third line. Brahmanic is related to Brahman, no? The absolute. So the guru has Shabda Brahman and guru has Para Brahman. Or in connection to these two, the guru is Nishnata. Nishnata in Sanskrit means like, literally means drenched. Drenched, you say? Drenched. No? Fully imbued in something. That's the meaning of Nishnata. Like sna, like we have snan, like bathe. So Nishnata means like full immersion, something like that. No? Drenched. So in drenched in what? In Shabda Brahman, and Para Brahman, which means Shabda is the sound. Shabda Brahman means Brahman in sound, which means Shastra. Brahman means the absolute in sound form, in revelation, scriptures. So the guru is drenched in Shastra. In other words, is expert in scripture, has theoretical knowledge. And I need to say all that before saying guru has theoretical knowledge, because that sounds very flat. Right? So guru is drenched in the sound form of the absolute, Shabda Brahman in Shastra. That's clear? Yeah. So there's Shabda Brahman and there's Para Brahman, which means Nishnatan Para Brahman. The guru is also drenched in an personal experience of that Brahman, not only in the sound form, knowing it theoretically, but has realization of the theory, of the knowledge, of the information, if you will. There's the information and there's transformation. There's both. Is that clear? Yeah. Which again is, we'll say, basic common sense. If you're a teacher, you need to know the subject matter, right? If you are going to a class in geography and you ask the teacher, like, in which continent there is UK, and she said, I don't know. And she said, what's a continent? It's like, I think I came to the wrong room here. So you need to have some knowledge of what you are teaching about. Of course, on top of that, in spiritual teacher, you need to have personal insight. A geography teacher doesn't need to have been visiting UK to teach that part of geography. But in this case, you need to have an experience of that. Although I will argue, if you're a genuine geography teacher, you have to have passion for nature or biology. You have to have an experience that draws you to get into that. So what to speak in terms of the infinite? Because again, guru can be in so many areas. In India, if someone teaches you geography, he is your geography guru. Because the word guru basically refers to the function of dispelling ignorance. And ignorance can be of any sort. I can have ignorance in terms of geography. So whomever dispels my geographical ignorance is my geography guru. I can have ignorance about cooking. Whoever dispels that ignorance by teaching me how to cook is my cooking guru. I may have ignorance about music, classical Indian music. Whoever teaches me raga and tal and all these details of music in India, that becomes my Indian music, my music guru. And they will use the term, no? My guru. But now we're talking about spiritual matters, so then we will hear generally the word Satguru, no? A guru in terms of the truth. But guru means the function of dispelling ignorance. So for that, you need to have knowledge of the truth, to impart, to respond to questions. Remember, the duty of the disciple is to present questions, and the guru has to know how to respond to those questions also based on Shastra. Because any tradition, any spiritual tradition has some foundation in some sacred revelation. If you go to Christians and there are teachers in Christianity, they're supposed to know the Bible. It's not, oh no, I never read that book. Right? If you're a Jewish rabbi, you are supposed to be familiar with the Torah, the Old Testament. If you're a Sufi master or whatever, you're supposed to be familiar with Islam and with the Quran, and the teachers of other mystics. If not, it's like, Oh no, I just made up my own thing, and this is what I think. So in our tradition also there's Shastra, different Shastras, Srimad Bhagavatam being central one, but many others. So Guru is expected to be Shabdi, Nishnatam Brahman, to be Nishnatam, drenched into the sound aspect of the Absolute. In the Bhagavad Gita verse 434, I'm just making the parallels. Tad vidipani patina pariprashnena sivaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnani nastatva darshinaha. So jnani means the guru has gyan, has knowledge. And then he's tattva darshan. He's a seer darshan. He's having darshan of tattva, of reality, which is pari. He has realization of the knowledge. So, and in this Upanishadic verse, it says, Samit Panit Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. The Guru Shrotriyam, he knows the Shruti, he's familiar with the Shruti, with that which is heard, with the revelation, and Brahmanishtam. He's firmly situated Nishta in Brahman. In this, Brahman means the absolute. He has realization. So all of these say the same thing. They have knowledge, Guru has knowledge, Guru has realization of that knowledge. It's not like a professional teacher only. I learn the answers I get. You can become very erudite and very even charismatic and don't have realization because you are not practicing what you are talking about. It can happen. Go to India, there are many professional Bhagavatam reciters, and they will do this 1 week Bhagavatam recitation. Like this famous example, once someone asked Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, they told, oh, there's someone reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam for a week, and he's so famous, and he's so many people is attracted to him. Please come. He just went casually. He was there like, and the whole thing ended. And so, what do you think, Babaji, about this person? Say, you just clean the whole room with cow dung. Just a purifier in our tradition, the cow dung, and it's even scientifically proved it has all this antiseptic element. Clean the whole room with cow dung. The person's like, what do you mean? For a whole week, the Bhagavatam has been spoken here. What further purification we need? And Gaurishaba said, you heard Bhagavatam. I just heard rupee, rupee, rupee. Money, money, money. I never heard the Bhagavatam. Because the person who was doing that as a business, only getting money to live a life not aligned with the Bhagavatam. Because if even you speak the Bhagavatam and someone gives you money, but you are living your life according to the Bhagavatam, that money will be spent in the service of the Bhagavatam, of a Bhagavatam aligned life. But if you have a separate life that has nothing to do with the Bhagavatam, and you're just exploiting the message for your own convenience, so Guru say, I never heard the Bhagavatam here. So that's why Guru has to have knowledge, but also realization. It has to be living the knowledge. Basically, the knowledge, the thing you are talking about, is your life. It's what your life revolves around. It's clear. So of course, when we say the Guru has knowledge, it's not just I memorize the verses, but also it's more than being able to quote Shastra. As we were talking these days, it's also meaning knowing that Shastra has many voices. There are contexts, principles, relative sections, more absolute sections, apparent tensions, apparent contradictions that we talked yesterday. We need to know how to reconcile and how to apply all that without weaponizing anything, because that happens a lot also. So having knowledge of Shastra means having that sensitivity, which is tied with realization, because you need to have some realization to know how to feel the text. It's not just professional training in how to understand each section of Shastra. At one point, it's a living conversation that you intuitively know this is like this, it's like that. And scriptural knowledge, of course, should make the Guru more capable of nuance, not more rigid. Because that you can find also sometimes people have lots of knowledge, but that makes them more rigid. In all that knowledge they have, it still creates rigidity. But ideally, the more knowledge you have, the more nuanced you become. The the more capable of serving the individual as a teacher, the individual student in their own unique situation, rather than merely imposing formulas. No, one size fits all. This is it. This how this verse. That's why I mean, and I'm not saying I'm that example, but my intention is okay. We are seeing this. I'm talking the same words, and you are all listening in your own way. But then in the afternoon, you have to do your own sitting contemplation with the verse, so you can also see how this relates to me individually, rather than all of you should understand this in the same way. There's only one way to read this. So again, it's important to have that knowledge, and it's important to have the realization, because even if you throw lots of wonderful information, there's no insight, it's not touching, it's not creating transformation in the listener. It's not creating the genuine insight and wisdom. It's just knowledge is one thing, wisdom is something else. So realized knowledge becomes gyan and bigyan. Sometimes in Sanskrit they use these two words. And then comes a difficult part here, because okay, the Bhagavatam said the guru has to have realization of the absolute. And the question is, how do I know the guru has realization? Or sometimes I like to say, the Bhagavatam says the topmost devotee sees Krishna everywhere and sees everything in Krishna. And sometimes they want to say, oh, my guru is the topmost devotee. And I don't do that. This will be too much. But in my mind, it's like, how do you know that? Not that I'm doubting, but that's just like, from which place you are saying that? How do you know? Because the symptom is guru seeing Krishna. How do you know? It's very subjective. How do you know the other person is seeing Krishna everywhere and everywhere in everything Krishna? And I'm not saying, I mean, it's a little bit subjective. It doesn't need to be blind faith, but it may take time for you to, again, get to know the person and learn to observe how that person behaves and relates and lives. As much as you can see, feel, okay, yes, they are. It feels to me that that person is seeing Krishna everywhere. At the end of the day, it's still your personal experience, and you have to take responsibility for that. But if in time you see this person living their life with humility, free from exploitation, with generosity, compassion, with capacity to listen, I don't know, freedom from the need to dominate, and with, yeah, deep love, different symptoms that you can perceive, okay? In this case, okay, the guru has realization of the absolute. As we say before, how much the guru has capacity to awaken responsibility in others rather than dependence in others. That's important also. Is the guru creating responsible spiritual adults or utterly codependent children? Is there an agenda behind, right? Because again, there may be charisma, there may be, how to say in English, eloquence, charisma, mystical claims, some legends around the person. There may be institutional position and fame and a big number of followers. None of that is a reliable evidence of realization. None of that. But it's very tragic that many times people think those are exactly the yardsticks of how many disciples that you have, how popular is, and you're just playing the celebrity consciousness game. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. So again, inner realization is an inward affair, so it requires time and discernment for the disciple, the student, to ascertain as much as the student is able. Does this person have genuine realization? So one question could be, okay, what kind of consciousness is growing around those who genuinely are close to that person, open to that person? What's spreading from that person toward others? Does the relationship with that person, with that guru, create greater honesty, greater freedom, greater responsibility, greater compassion, greater remembrance of the divine, inner absorption? Or does it create fear, rivalry, competition, I don't know, dependency, loss of personal agency. There are some yardsticks we can resort to. So anyhow, we'll go to the final words in the verse, because Brahmani is, remember, connected to the other ones, qualifying the other one. Brahmani refers to Brahman, the absolute, and how the Guru has Sabda Brahman, knowledge of the absolute, Para Brahman, realization of the absolute, Nishnatam is drenched. So the last word of the verse, don't leave me a few more moments. It helps. And it's a very fitting sound for the word that is coming now, which is Upasamashraya. The Guru has become an abode of tranquility. Literally, ashraya means shelter. And upasama means tranquility. So in one sense, we could say the Guru has taken shelter into tranquility. Or one could say tranquility has taken shelter into the Guru. And therefore he has become an abode of tranquility, which in one sense can mean the Guru is of controlled mind, controlled senses. Now that can be as an indicator of how realized the Guru is. One way of measuring that. Tranquility, of course, doesn't mean like emotional flatness, right? I'm very tranquil. And that's or an absence of personality or an absence of individuation. But it means that the Guru is not governed by, again, by ambition, by possessiveness, by all this stuff. The need to control others. It's self-satisfied to some degree. There are degrees, but to some sustainable degree, you can observe that day after day after day after day after day after day. You can say, okay, as I say before, you are waiting for the greatest catastrophe to happen. Okay, next week, next month, it's not happening. It's not happening. Okay, it seems we are okay. And something that I like to connect in this regard to Pasamashrayam, the Guru is an abode of tranquility. The Guru has balanced humanity also. I think that's an important way of understanding Upasamashrayam. Is psycho-emotionally balanced. He's a balanced human being. Because a guru, a teacher, is supposed to interact with other humans, human students. So if your humanity is dysfunctional and unresolved, at least in gross ways, we always carry some unresolved bits. And we cannot wait for everything to be full in place, but considerably, the teacher should be, I would say, of a balanced humanity and not triggered by certain unresolved things, whether it is childhood trauma or whatever, emotional immaturity, unethical conduct, or yeah, balanced humanity. Because as I like to say, we want to enter Nara Lila. We want to serve into a place which is fully human, fully divine. So a teacher should embody full humanity, full divinity, at least to some degree, considerably full humanity, full divinity. The two are not opposites, so can relate to our humanity. And when we are fully human, fully vulnerable, the Guru knows what to do with that. You don't know what to do with other people's vulnerability, even you may end up trampling on that. And that may be felt as abuse by the trampled one, even if there was no intention of abuse. But if you don't know what to do with other people's humanity, you may end up behaving inhumanly, even without bad intention. It doesn't mean that the person was evil. It was just not mature, humanly mature enough. So balanced humanity, I think, is connected to Upashamashrayam. Again, especially if you are a guru, a teacher, teaching others. If you are living in a cave by yourself as an avadut, you're not interacting with anyone, you can be a little socially mad, dysfunction, awkward. It's fine. But if you are like constantly relating to people and communities, you need to have some capacity of knowing how to interact with other human beings in a healthy way, and not getting triggered all the time by their own unresolved stuff that is triggering your own unresolved stuff. So that's why, it's important to be healed as considerably, as a human, physically, emotionally, mentally. At the same time, doesn't mean that the guru needs to be a therapist for the disciples, right? The guru may need to go to a therapist to be properly healed, so to say. But that doesn't mean that then you are a therapist, that you are like a financial advisor, like you're a romantic counselor, that you are an administrator, you are a father figure, mother figure, brother figure, husband figure, wife figure, whatever. Because sometimes the disciple arrive with that. They arrive unconsciously with projections and existential holes, and they didn't have daddy, so that person makes me feel like the dad I never had. And to one degree, I'm okay, it helps, but if it's the roles start to get confused and you no longer look for a teacher in the teacher, you're looking for the dad you never had, and that may need to be healed separately. It needs to be healed, but not necessarily in that particular situation. So again, the guru doesn't need to occupy every single role. That's too much for the poor guru. And that's, because that, and sometimes gurus have tried to do that with a good heart in trying to, okay, I think, okay, I understand this is the way I'm supposed to serve the community. They try to be mommy and daddy and administrator and astrologer and this and that. And they end up collapsing in their own role of service, not because they were bad people, just because it was too much. But it was officially institutionalized that you are supposed to do that as a guru. And for the disciple, is institutional, you are supposed to expect all that from the guru. So that's too much. That's unhealthy. So healthy relationships respect the limits of each role. Healthy relationships, I repeat, respect the limits of each role. In other words, I'm related to my mom as my mom. There are limits in the relationship in that sense. I won't expect my mom to be my daughter, my wife, my dad, my this. And it doesn't mean that I'm loving my mom less by setting those limits. On the contrary, that's what allows the relationship to flourish for what it is. And the same with Guru. Okay, so a few thoughts regarding Upashamashrayam and this verse, again, which describes qualities of a disciple, student, teacher, hopefully in a healthy way. And I like a few more minutes because we are still on time, considering the daily transgression, which is now standard. Just to nuance a little bit the whole topic, a few concluding remarks beyond this verse from the Bhagavatam, concluding and complex remarks, which are very interesting, which is how the Bhagavatam, okay, here's the main verse from the Bhagavatam about Guru. But that's not the only thing the Bhagavatam has to say about Guru. No, there are many things, and one of them, for example, again, we tend to interpret Guru. Guru is a very misunderstood tattva, very misunderstood department, because one of the misunderstandings is we tend to hyper-localize Guru to one single human being and to think in singular terms, Guru. But Guru also has its plural expression. In fact, Chaitanya Charitamrita begins say, Bande Guru. I offer my pranam to my Gurus. Plural, the first two words of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you skip those, you may not understand the rest of the book. The Bhagavatam itself says in the 11th canto, also in another section, Nahi Kashmat Guru Gyanam Sustiram Setsupushkalam Brahma Ita Advitiyam Bhagiyate Bahuda Rishivi. That's another verse we could have explored, but anyhow. It says, because the absolute truth is infinite and is so vast, is Brahman, you cannot get complete knowledge from one guru only. Certainly not ekashmat guru. From one guru, sustiram set supushkalam. You cannot get fixed. Again, not to downplay whomever is your main guru if you have one in your life, not to say he's not enough, she's not enough, but just to open the doors to, you can learn from so many directions, and a genuine guru will show you how there are gurus beyond that in the beginning may begin more hyper localized. I only learn from this person, as we said yesterday. But that one guru will show you there is another guru and another guru and another guru till.
Sorry, which verse was that?
Nahi, I don't have the exact number in my mind, but I can look it right now. It's 11th canto. Nahi Kashmat Guru Gyanam. It's Bhagavatam 11:931. So it's a few chapters after this. So again, it's a very commonsensical thing. Okay, you cannot learn everything from one person. You can, in other words, if you think I can learn everything from one person, implies I don't have anything to learn from everyone else, which is nonsense. It's dangerous. And of course, another important point that the Bhagavatam brings, again, to nuance the idea of guru is guru doesn't necessarily limit to diksha. That's a big conversation. Because sometimes when we think guru means, okay, the diksha guru. When someone asks, who is your guru? Not proper question to ask. First, because it's invasive. Second, it's in the singular. Third, probably it assumes he's your diksha guru. And maybe someone asked once, let's see the Maharaj, who is more important, the diksha guru or the siksha guru? He said, the one who is helping you the most. And at times maybe one or the other, or it may be the same person, but that doesn't matter. The main thing is, and for example, in the Bhagavatam, we have many examples of this. Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami, that's the main guru-disciple connection. But Sukadev Goswami didn't give Diksha to Parikshit Maharaj. Sukadev Goswami gave Siksha to Parikshit Maharaj, spoke about. So again, this is not to cancel Diksha altogether, as we were talking yesterday also with Patrak. But traditionally, Diksha is the official marking of the beginning of Siksha. So Diksha, in one sense, is in the service of Siksha. It's not like I give you Diksha, but there's no Siksha at all. Oh, but I have my Diksha. What's that? No? Diksha is the officially, traditionally, okay, the disciple goes to the school of the guru, Gurukul, begins the education process, Diksha marks the beginning. That may be or not, but the essence of is Siksha, at least we will say that. Also, again, speaking about plurality of gurus in another section, also in the 11th canto. 11th canto is very interesting. Gives this famous list that I mentioned many times, 24 gurus. Again, hinting at plurality of guru, not get stuck in hyper-localized celebrity consciousness idolatry of one single human being. And the 24 gurus, 23 are non-human. And the wind, and that's another retreat we could do one day. Let's go through the 24 gurus. I've done that in Spanish once. That was nice because you can learn so much, and all of the gurus are mostly from nature, like the spider and the snake and the deer and the wind and the moon, and you are surrounded. There are paramparas all over around you, right? And only 3 humans, as I like to say, and the 3 humans is one baby, one little girl, and the only adult human being is a prostitute. So shocking examples to make the point of be ready to find guru in the places you expect the least. Because guru is everywhere. In principle, the original guru is Krishna. Krishna is everywhere. Guru is everywhere. Guru is Krishna. Krishna is omnipresent. Guru is omnipresent. And we are omni-absent. And that's why we need to begin, okay, with one guru, that one hyper-localized, and gradually, as Maharaj will say, you enter into the land of gurus. Yeah. As we say the other day, where everything is your guru and you are the only disciple. But everyone thinks the same way. So everyone feels a disciple and everyone is a guru. Full circle. And 2 more complex elements that the Bhagavatam brings to, again, bring nuance to this notion of guru. In the 9th canto, and I mentioned that in Radical Personalism, we have the example of this disciple called Prishadra, that at one point he's cursed by his guru, Vasishta. Not only rejected, but cursed. So generally you don't hear gurus cursing disciples, but here is one. And he's cursed unjustly by something he didn't do. No? But he's cursed. And it is described how the disciple continues his practice, not connected with the guru and attains full success. So again, complex situation of guru rejecting a disciple or guru cursing a disciple unjustly. And Prabhupada comments there like, yeah, Vasistha should not have cursed his disciple. He was not in a good, he didn't say he was not in a good day, but he was not in a good frame of mind when he did that. By implying, well, but it can happen, but it shouldn't have happened. And despite that, the disciple continued sincerely and attained the goal of life. So again, Bhagavatam brings those types of testimonies, which hopefully don't happen to anyone, but acknowledging it may happen to some. Here it is. Or then you have the testimony of Bali Maharaj rejecting the advice of his own guru, Shukracharya. So now he have a guru rejecting, a disciple rejecting a guru. The other one was a guru rejecting a disciple. So all these complex dynamics are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. I explore them more in detail in Radical Personalism. So with all this, the Bhagavatam is showing Guru Tattva is not just one thing happening in one way. There are so many things. There's plurality, there's complexity. So yeah. So all this prevents us from being reductionistic about Guru. Guru is this. Now, when someone asks, who is your guru? That's very, very simplistic question, very reductionist, wrong question. Totally wrong question. As we say before, Rupa Goswami say, you have to relate to your guru as a friend. Certain unique type of friend. So imagine if a guru is a friend, if I ask you the question, who is your friend? Wrong question. Why in singular to begin with? Right? Who is my friend? I have more than one friend. As I can have more than one. No? So anyhow, the Bhagavatam is preserving all these ideas by involving, again, one guru, multiple gurus, imperfect interaction, messiness, cursing, rejection, disagreements, correction, interesting dynamics, as we were talking the other day in Wales, right? Like the Vyasadeva, the ideal prototype of guru instructing his son Sukadeva in the Bhagavatam, and then Sukadeva is talking the Bhagavatam, and the guru, Vyasadeva, is listening to the class. And Vyasadev's own guru, Narad Muni, is listening to his disciple's disciple. It's like an absolute reversal of how we think things operate. But I would say the other day, wherever the flow comes, we are all disciples. No? When wise men speak, wise men listen, they will say, right? So as we say, the high seat and the garland is for the flow, right? It's not idolatry. Anyhow, I think we are there. Yeah. Any questions? Anything you'd like to share? Because we don't have questions and answers tonight. We have poetry night tonight. And you will be invited to compose, write something if you want. Later we'll share the prompt in connection to the topic of today. Hopefully we can find some poetry in all this. It's poetic in many ways, no? And of course, also to conclude, the thing many times is not going back to us, making full circle, going back to us as students. Real question sometimes is not so much who is my guru, where is my guru, but again, am I becoming teachable? No? How willing I am to become teachable? No? And of course, someone who is offering guide should ask, is my presence creating more truthfulness, freedom, trust, or more, again, toxic codependency? So anyhow, I don't know if we have time for questions. There are a few raised hands. Okay, we'll address them, but briefly, because still we have one exercise to conclude before breakfast. Patrak?
In the description of the Guru in this verse, I'm missing kind of one quality, and it is that the Guru wants to teach. Or is that implied in one of the other verses? Or because he can have all those qualities, but if he doesn't want to teach, then
Yeah, it's not mentioned anywhere. Not because it shouldn't be there, I will say in my how I understand is because it's taken for granted that should be how it is basically. No? Like you have a love for the vocation even, not because there has to be some vocation as a teacher. Not everyone has that nature, and it's okay. It's not that you are less or more by having the vocation, but there has to be some love for the craft. But there are many parts in the Bhagavatam again where things are not clarified because it's taken for granted that the reader assumes that. For as I mentioned, radical personalism many times that Bhagavatam speaks about guru, about surrender to guru without clarifying the details. It assumes that when the Bhagavatam says guru, it's speaking about the highest possible representation of guru. If it says, okay, Krishna is coming to your life as guru, surrender to that. But when it says guru, the Bhagavatam is thinking about the highest possible level of representation. It's not thinking about some fake, half-baked notion of it. But it may not be clarifying that every time it says guru, guru, guru. It's just assuming that the reader gets that. So in the same way, we could say the assumption is there like, okay, whenever we speak about guru, we're speaking about someone who is choosing to do that, not loving to do that. It's not like forced to do that by whatever managerial necessity or pressure of institutional pressure or anything, right? Which can happen, has happened, unfortunately, also.
It's just in response to
Yeah.
that. The word is preceptor, so that's one who teaches by their actions. So it's not necessarily perhaps that a guru has to sit down and give a class to teach, but by the way he lives, his precept, walks in the world, he is a teacher.
Yes, we say before also, no, the word guru refers to the function of removing ignorance. That's why when we praise guru, it's Om Jnana Timirandasya, the famous mantra. It speaks about blindness and cataracts, not seeing reality, and guru bringing the salve and applying it to recover and restore the sight. But guru means the function that removes ignorance. So it can be someone living in such a way that witnessing that is transformational as well. No? So it's speaking about someone living it, not choosing to living it. And whatever happens from that is a natural extension of their love for what they are living. It can take the form of a formal teaching. It can take the form of a beautiful example without teaching, but still it's coming from voluntary place of loving it. Yeah.
Just for track, my Guru Maharaj didn't take any disciples initially, and people were coming to him asking for discipleship, and he didn't feel qualified. And then somebody told him, what don't you feel qualified? You know, with your history and your knowledge, you're qualified. He said, I don't feel fully qualified. And he said, a doctor has patience, you know, they have to practice, they have to go and start somewhere. And he said, oh, yes, you don't have to become totally perfect, you have to endeavor, but it is a vocation, yeah.
And our Sampradaya is Shisha. It's a Shisha Sampradaya. It's not Diksha.
Well, that's a particular stance that it's having more from the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So it's important to qualify that, because if not, it sounds like an absolutistic claim, and someone may not be initiated in that particular line and may have a different way of seeing it. And at the same time, I mean, I have nothing against what you say, but the point is, when we say Siksha Sampradaya or Siksha Parampara, we are not meaning let's cancel Diksha altogether. We mean, even when we speak about Diksha, is in the context of Siksha as a crucial thing, no? But not to the point of Diksha doesn't exist, but understanding the context of that, right? It's just to clarify that.
It's just that in ISKCON, a lot of the times it's Diksha and nothing else.
Yeah, and I've seen that again as we talk, and it's not about a particular institution, but I've seen devotees looking for initiation or Diksha just as a membership card. I'm not interested in education, growing, transformation, but just social fitting in. Well, I have water here.
No, I'm gonna.
Okay. Proper thing. Okay. I heard a proper thing. Ravindra, so you raise your hand. We will conclude with this one.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah.
a quick one. Chaita Guru. So, Guru.
Chaitya Guru.
Chaita Guru.
Okay, thank you for bringing that one also. Yeah.
Suggesting like Paramatma, like
Yeah.
occupation
Yeah.
in the material realm.
Yeah.
So it seems like that suggests, it's like the whole form. But when you come into the material realm, into human society, then it must be like a person Guru for it to operate. And of course, that means that the standard is pretty high. But then I'm wondering, you could be in the creation, but you could just be kind of floating through and just whatever. But it seems like the moment that you take responsibility, I want to learn more what's it all about. At that point, that's when Shaita Guru becomes Guru, like Paramatma starts to operate. And then things unfold in that form. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for pointing the concept of Chaitya Guru that I didn't mention today. And I did mention the other day in Wales when we gave the lecture on Guru Purnima, and someone didn't say, don't forget the Chaitya Gurus. Again, Guru Tattva is very broad. We can talk about it in so many ways. And one way is like, okay, you have Guru in your heart as well, God in your heart as a Guru. And the more you also become learned, imbibed, you become a disciple, the more you become a student of the truth, the more you develop also a criterion and sensibility to be your own Guru. And I know this sounds shocking, and I'm not saying this replaces, oh, Gurudev, I don't need you anymore. I became. But the Bhagavatam, again, quoting the Bhagavatam, one verse that sometimes you have to be your own Guru, which means, of course, you have to think for yourself, apply your discernment and criterion, and pay attention to your own inner Guru, also to God in your heart. You may not have someone next to you telling you what to do, or you may not have the sacred book to open, whatever. You need to gradually, that may not be possible on day one, but eventually you have to be so much aligned with truth. The truth passes through you, and in that sense you become your own Guru. It's not this, again, selfish, narcissistic thing. Hey guys, now I'm my own Guru. Nobody can teach me anything. That's not the point. So yeah, I think, and sometimes that has been really underemphasized. And I understand in the beginning you cannot tell someone on day one, okay, no, you be your own Guru, and Guru is in your heart. Good luck, listen attentively. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita says the Chaitya Guru that is in the heart takes outer form as the Siksha Guru. No? Not to say literally that person is literally God, but ideally a Siksha Guru should be instructing me as God in my heart is trying to instruct me, but I'm not able to listen to that voice. So maybe I'm able to listen to this outward embodied voice and gradually start to listen to whatever is sounding on the outside, inside as well, and eventually become really attuned in that direction. So, I think it's important to gradually emphasize that, because if not, again, you keep people codependent. So independently thoughtful people means that, as Prabhupada will say. Okay, Sri Guru Parampara ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I'll share the exercise. Still keeping the recording. We'll do an exercise before breakfast. We are on proper normal transgress time. So it's as usual, we'll do groups of 3. We'll be sharing 2 minutes each, 3 prompts related to today's topic. Number 1, what still needs to heal or mature? Because some You may not feel something needs to heal, but maybe mature. What still needs to heal or mature in your understanding or experience of the guru-disciple relationship? What still needs to heal or mature in your understanding or experience of the guru-disciple relationship? Yeah, that's number one. Number two.
Can you repeat?
No. What still needs to heal or mature in your understanding or experience of the guru-disciple relationship? Number two. Sorry, Sam, joking. A little bit. Some poking is helping. Number two, what will it mean for you? For you, what will it mean for you to become more teachable? What will it mean for you to become more teachable without becoming less yourself? What will it mean for you to become more teachable without becoming less yourself? And number three, the last one. The other ones were not good. How has your understanding, number three, how has your understanding of guru and disciple, of these two terms, how has your understanding of guru and disciple, in quote unquote, if you want to put it, the words, the concepts, changed over time? Still not finished. It's getting better all the time. How has your understanding of guru and disciple changed over time, and what now feels most beautiful to you about that relationship? How has your understanding of guru and disciple changed over time, and what now feels most beautiful to you about that relationship? Hey, Sadhu Sangha ki jai.